tensions in Tehran have reached a critical point. Recent developments have intensified an already fragile regional balance. But to understand what may be unfolding, we must look at the history behind it. In recent years, the confrontation between Iran, Israel, and the United States has been shaped by a series of high-profile operations that reveal the strategies and boundaries of each actor. In July 2020, the Natanz uranium enrichment facility suffered a significant explosion and fire. Iranian authorities quickly labeled the event as sabotage, and satellite imagery confirmed extensive damage to advanced centrifuges. While no government officially claimed responsibility, open-source analysis pointed to a covert operation most likely orchestrated by Israeli intelligence services. The aftermath forced Iran to halt parts of its nuclear program, highlighting the vulnerability of critical infrastructure to sophisticated foreign attacks. Just months later, in November 2020, Iranian nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was killed near Tehran in a meticulously planned ambush. Reports described a remote-controlled weapon and a coordinated assault that left little doubt about the involvement of a state-level intelligence agency. Iranian officials directly accused Israel. The assassination targeted not only a key figure in Iran's nuclear efforts, but also sent a clear message about the reach and intent of Israel's covert operations. The incident triggered a wave of internal security reviews and public mourning, but Iran's response remained measured, possibly to avoid a direct escalation at that moment. Earlier that same year, in January 2020, the United States ordered a drone strike near Baghdad International Airport, killing Qasem Soleimani, commander of Iran's Quds Force. This marked one of the most direct and public uses of military force against a senior Iranian official. Iran's answer came swiftly, a coordinated ballistic missile barrage against US bases in Iraq. While casualties were limited, the exchange demonstrated both the willingness and the limitations of direct retaliation. The events underscored the role of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and Israeli intelligence as institutional actors, each calibrating their actions to signal deterrence without triggering uncontrolled escalation. These episodes, sabotage at Natanz, the assassination of Fakhrizadeh, and the Soleimani strike with its missile response, form a pattern of calculated risk. Each operation tested boundaries, invited reprisal, and shaped the rules of engagement that continue to define the escalation ladder in the region. Tehran sits at the center of Iran's political, military, and symbolic life. The city is not just the capital in name, it is home to the supreme leader's main command compound, the president's office, the core ministries, and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' central command. These institutions form the backbone of national decision-making, crisis management, and strategic planning. When an attack strikes inside Tehran, it is not simply a blow to infrastructure, it threatens the nerve center of the Iranian state. The capital's defenses reflect this reality. Tehran is encircled by a multi-layered air defense system, integrating Russian-supplied S-3 and S-400 missile batteries with domestically produced systems. 4 S-400 sites, confirmed by open-source satellite imagery, are positioned to cover the city's approaches from the west, north, south, and east. These batteries, supported by high-capacity radar arrays and short-range interceptors, create overlapping zones that extend hundreds of kilometers beyond the city limits. The S-300 batteries, placed on the outskirts, provide a secondary shield against lower flying or stealth threats. Iranian forces routinely conduct live fire drills to maintain readiness, and analysts estimate that at least 3/4 of the launchers remain on high alert at any given time. Within this defensive ring lie the most fortified command nodes. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' central headquarters is embedded in the Shahraq-e-Khomeini district, featuring underground shelters and dedicated power supplies. The Supreme Leader's main office, located near the Milad Tower precinct, is protected by hardened vaults and a private communications network. Both sites are situated to maximize the coverage of the S-400 and S-300 systems, and any attempt to neutralize them would require an extensive suppression campaign, with clear risks of escalation. Tehran's infrastructure also binds the country together. Its power substations, communication hubs, and logistical arteries enable command and control over both civilian life and military operations. Disrupting these nodes, even temporarily, can have cascading effects across Iran's provinces. The symbolic weight of a strike against the capital is amplified by the city's history as a seat of revolution, governance, and resistance. In the context of regional conflict, an attack on Tehran is understood by all parties as a direct challenge to the regime's authority and stability, raising the stakes far beyond those of strikes in peripheral regions. At 35.6980 degrees north, 51.4015 degrees east, commercial satellite images from Maxar and Planet captured a distinct smoke plume and structural disturbance in Tehran's Shahid Kargar power substation. The images, dated February 28, 2026, align with the visual signatures broadcast on Iranian state television that same morning. Open-source geospatial analysis confirms the location as the Northeast Power Complex, with no credible alternative coordinates in circulation. This convergence of independent satellite providers and broadcast media establishes the blast site with high confidence. The timeline of the explosion is reconstructed from multiple sources. The earliest news report appeared at 1437 GMT+8, which converts to 637 UTC. Iranian state television interrupted its programming at 6:45 UTC to show live footage of a smoke column over the city. An Israeli Ministry of Defense alert was posted at 6:50 UTC. These timestamps, corroborated by broadcast metadata and open-source monitoring, narrow the detonation window to between 6:35 and 7 o'clock UTC. This window is further supported by the sequence of satellite passes and the appearance of thermal anomalies in the affected area. Iranian Red Crescent statements report at least 201 fatalities and note that the blast affected more than 20 provinces. However, no independent verification from international agencies or non-governmental organizations has been published within the first 48 hours. The World Health Organization and Médecins Sans Frontières have not released casualty figures. In the documentary, the Red Crescent's number is presented as the official Iranian claim, with the explicit caveat that no external confirmation exists at this stage. Satellite change detection reveals approximately 0.8 square kilometers of damage surrounding the substation. The most visible effects include a collapsed roof on the control building and a persistent smoke plume. Reuters. Connect published images of smoke rising over Tehran, which correspond to the satellite-detected footprint. Ground-level video, while widely shared, lacks geotagging and cannot be independently confirmed. No additional damage to transport infrastructure or other civilian facilities has been substantiated by field reports. Analysts from Maxar and Planet, working alongside open-source investigators, have cross-verified these findings. The evidence chain, coordinates, timestamps, imagery, and official statements anchors the incident in verifiable data while highlighting the limits of current knowledge. Uncertainties remain around casualty figures and certain visual claims, underscoring the importance of independent verification in a contested information environment. Israel's strike capacity against Iran is anchored by its Jericho ballistic missile series, with a reach of over 1,500 kilometers. These missiles, both road-mobile and silo-based, give the Ministry of Defense the ability to target Tehran and strategic sites from deep inside Israeli territory. The F-35I Adir stealth fighters add another layer, carrying precision-guided munitions like GBU-54 and AGM-158 JASSM-ER. With a combat radius matching the Jericho range, these aircraft can operate from forward bases without refueling, and their stealth profile complicates Iranian air defense efforts. The US Fifth Fleet, based in Bahrain, reinforces this posture. In February 2026, its composition included the USS Gerald R. Ford and the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier strike groups, backed by 5 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers with Aegis missile defense. Airborne early warning from E-3 Sentry OWACS at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar provides radar coverage over Iran. The fleet's Tomahawk missiles and carrier-based aircraft can strike Iranian targets within hours, and its presence signals both deterrence and readiness to escalate if required. Iran, meanwhile, relies on a network of proxies. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps directs Hezbollah in Lebanon, Iraqi Popular Mobilization Forces, and the Houthis in Yemen. Hezbollah's leadership has pledged to respond to attacks on Iran with thousands of rockets pointed at Israeli cities. Iraqi militias have targeted US bases with drones, while the Houthis have intensified missile strikes on Gulf oil infrastructure. These proxies offer Tehran deniable options, complicating attribution and stretching Israeli and US defenses. 3 escalation scenarios now loom. Scenario A: direct Iranian missile strikes on Israeli or US Gulf assets, risking open conflict. Scenario B: a proxy barrage, Hezbollah rockets, Iraqi drones, Houthi missiles, expanding the battlefield without direct confrontation. Scenario C: economic and cyber disruption, including attacks on shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. After the Tehran blast, Brent crude jumped 3.2% and the real dropped 12%, underscoring the stakes as each actor weighs its next move. Every strike in Tehran now reverberates across global capitals. As rivalries intensify and red lines blur, the risk of miscalculation grows. In a region shaped by decades of brinkmanship, the next decision may not stay contained. The world is watching for consequences that could reshape the balance far beyond Iran's borders.